And action. I'm trying to tell you. So, this is my guy, D for Darius on YouTube. I want all my Patreon people to check him out. Like, I'm telling you, I've been riding with him for probably about 6 years, 5 years into like really, watching and learning his content. The first part of the year, I was probably just looking at, what he provided. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think that everything that he was saying was gonna like work out for me, because at the time I was just doing photography. You know what I mean? But then I learned that, I've been a writer, but I learned that I can do this too. I can film, you know what I mean? So when I learned like the ins and outs of filmmaking, and he made it so easy to learn, you know what I mean? So if you're a person that's interested in filmmaking, if you want to be an actor, I'm telling you, look up D for Darius on YouTube. This is for all my Patreon people, okay? I'm pretty sure he got a Patreon too. If he does, follow him. I watch all of his videos, almost every single one of them. Every time he drops something, like this one right here is something new I'm watching right now. It'd be like a month to go by, maybe even 2 months, and I'm thinking to myself like, what does D for Darius got going? What he got going on? You know what I mean? Like, is he doing any new films? He's doing any short films, behind the scenes, because he does a lot of behind the scenes type stuff. Is he explaining new cameras and new camera equipment, where to buy them from, what lenses to use and stuff like that? So, like, oftentimes what I think about like mentors and people that give me knowledge or refresh the knowledge that I have in my head about filmmaking, because I won't say that I got everything from him, but I will say I learned how to do this shit a lot faster when I learned how he did things. And he has a course it's not even a course really. It's like 12 minutes of everything that he did in filmmaking school. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's dope. So just check out his channel. He got a lot of shorts. He seems, very professional. He kind of reminds me like one of those Will Smith, one of those, he a little goofy. He a little goofy. Now I ain't saying like he a cornball or nothing like that. I'm just saying like, you know, hip hop. He's like hip hop, our culture goofy. Like Will Smith, or um, a lot of different cats, you know what I'm saying, that have a little comedic, you know, way about them, the way they explain things, you know what I mean? And he's one of those type of cats. So check this out real quick.
And stop on somebody.
Follow her. We stay on her. Kill the Nazis!
Okay, I like watching video essays on film theory as much as the next guy. Director's commentary, behind the scenes, give me all of it. But what if I were to tell you that if you're a new filmmaker, studying movies like this might do you more harm than good? Don't stone me yet, okay? Let me explain. Raise your hand if this is you. You've watched a ton of delicious video essays on your favorite films. You watch this stuff till the concepts are bubbling out of your ears. And you think to yourself, I get this filmmaking stuff. I know why Steve done what he done when he shot that one movie. I know why my boy Nolan done what he done when he shot those Batman movies. I know how my boy Roger Deakins lights a scene. I get it. A month later, you go into production on your first short, you find yourself on set later, and your mind just kind of goes blank. All those delicious breakdowns, poof, gone. You've got no clue where to put the camera. Worse yet, you realize all those cool shots you had in mind are out of the question. You start thinking, there's a lot of stuff those guys have that you don't have. You don't have multiple camera packages or a camera department. You don't have access to nice lenses. You don't have a locations manager or access to cool and interesting locations. You don't have a crew. You don't have a grip truck. You don't have jibs. You don't have dollies. You don't have lights. You don't have investors or any financial backers fronting the money for your projects. How are you supposed to tell a story the way the big guys do when all you got's a camera on some sticks?
Oh man, that's on point right there. I just want to go back and kind of look at this little grid he got, or map, yeah, a lot of the times you will not have all of this stuff. You will have one camera and one tripod. I thought I had a small tripod on my desk, but it's all good. Um, so he's spot on with that. He's spot on with that. And a lot of the stuff he say is very true, especially coming from an indie filmmaker like me, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm trying to give my best, like my best quality of work when it comes to filmmaking because I don't want it to be too amateur. I don't want it to look like anything else that's been in Kansas City, you know what I'm saying, in my city. So I don't want that. Anytime you watch my movies, I don't want that. So, like he's saying right here, you don't have all that, but you can actually make it work. And he's going to explain that here in a second.
Guys do when all you got's a camera on some sticks. Now when you look at your favorite movies, you groan and you say, if only I could find somebody to give me money, cause I could kill this film game, bruh. I just need somebody to give me a chance. I can do all this, I get it. Do you though? Do you really? Or are you missing something? As I've said numerous times on this channel, your filmmaking journey, like many other things in life, is broken up into phases. First, there's the skill builder phase, right? You learn how to turn a camera on, all the basic stuff. Then there's the curation phase. This phase is all about consuming the works of others to find out what you like and what you don't like, what inspires you. Then there's the imitation phase, right? The name says it all. You're borrowing from creative works and other filmmakers that inspired you, and you're experimenting, trying things out. As they say, first you imitate, then you innovate, which leads us to our next phase, innovation. You've built up enough skills, you've tried enough things out to find your own sauce, right? And you end up finding a unique approach to doing what you do that feels fresh.
And that's very true. Very true. You get into a space as a filmmaker and you've looked at the Spike Lees, the Bill Deuce, the Mario Van Peebles, and you see their style, and you see all the culture and music that they put into it, right? And then you get to a point where you want to create something that is yours. So you want to come up with your own style of shooting. You know what I mean? You want to come up with your own style of color. Even how you frame things. Now you're supposed to go off of the rule of thirds, but some people go off the rule of thirds and to make their film a little bit more, I guess, stylistic. That's the word I'm going to use for real. Like that's because every artist, like they know how to innovate. They know how to like take something and turn it to their own style. Like it could be something such as somebody painted me, right? My hat could be like this, but they can paint my hat like that. You know what I mean? Or they can do anything that's different, you know what I mean, that makes it looks like their own style. They can even like paint me in 3 different colors and stuff. It'll still be me. It still look just like me, but they use different colors to show their artistic value. So let me keep it moving real quick.
To doing what you do that feels fresh. If you skip any one of these phases, disappointment and heartbreak are sure to follow. Prime example, if you're a newbie, it's probably not a good idea to rent a red camera and try shooting an 1.5 hour long movie. Too much too soon. Each phase has a specific area of focus. If you're in the skill builder phase, your focus is building skills. You should be shooting exercises to learn how camera settings work, how sound works, etc. I'm guessing many of you are in the curation phase, or else you probably wouldn't have clicked on this video. For many of you, this is where the train goes off the tracks. If you're studying the wrong things in this phase, it can dramatically slow down your growth. If you want to grow organically in filmmaking, you need to understand something, bro. Producing short films and producing feature-length movies are 2 different animals. Producing a short film is a lot like riding a bicycle, and producing a feature-length movie is a lot like riding a motorcycle. You can watch YouTube videos all day long about how to ride a motorcycle, but that's not going to help you learn how to ride a bicycle. Each endeavor comes with very specific skill sets. You'll find that once you nail down producing short films, many of those skill sets that you learn shooting shorts cross over naturally into the feature-length movie world. If you know how to ride a bicycle, it's a lot easier to learn how to ride a motorcycle. But you won't find a lot of crossover the other way around, because when you're producing feature-length movies, you're juggling a different set of circumstances. This is what many new filmmakers are doing. we're just skipping the basics, camera settings, how to record sound. We're just getting to the fun stuff. They just jump to vegging out on video essay after video essay about their favorite filmmakers. This is great input, but not the right time. Then you hop to studying your favorite Hollywood/Indiewood films. We're talking budgets $100 million plus. Then you hop to watching cinematography breakdowns on your favorite films as you prepare to shoot your first short film. Bear in mind, you haven't studied any shorts yet, and you're about to shoot one. 2 weeks before the shoot, you realize you're rusty on all the camera settings, so you veg out on the basics. You shoot your first short, your mind goes blank, it doesn't turn out how you like, you wonder how you're supposed to do this film stuff with next to nothing.
That, very true again. Oftentimes, like, you could have a lot of people on set, right? And for instance, you can have your camera there and you're not in the right settings for that scene. That scene is a close-up, but it's majority, close-up or mid shot to close-up, you know what I mean? So you're not set up for that in your camera. And then also, you don't know where, you may have your, your sound equipment together, but if you don't have the camera in the right lenses, in the right settings, you will definitely trip over your own feet, and you'll be sitting there thinking for a minute or need a minute to set up when everybody's waiting to do the scene, the actors, and then there could be other people that want to pull you aside so to ask you a question about what's going on or who do we need in this scene and stuff like that. So that's why it's always good to set your camera settings before you even get to the scene. Matter of fact, have all of your equipment prepped before you get there. It's kind of like you at a restaurant, people going to come into the restaurant to eat. You're going to prep all your food. So that way, by the time they get in and make their order, you can throw your food on the grill and start cooking. You don't have to prep at this point because that's going to be longer. So now y'all got that concept that I just gave y'all. You just apply it to, the set, the filmmaking. Whenever you on set, you should already be set up to shoot that scene. And preparation is key always. I can't stress that anymore. That's preparation is key for real. All I can say is if you prep right, everything's gonna work out right. That's all I can say. Let's move on.
And then you go back to studying $10 million and $100 million plus movies again. And you wonder why everything is so confusing. At this point, many people just get frustrated and flat out quit altogether. But we're overlooking the most obvious thing here. You're studying the wrong stuff. Great input, but wrong timing. You can't borrow from or experiment with any of the stuff you're studying because none of this stuff is actionable at your level. So how are you supposed to grow? Let me get to the point here. Spending all of your time breaking down and watching video essays on movies like this won't help you make your next no-budget short film. You gotta crawl before you can walk, bruh. You're skipping steps. If you're at the stage where you're making short films, then you should be studying more short films. When I was in film school, we broke down a ton of short films, different budget levels, different crew sizes. We didn't get into breaking down features until after we had made a number of shorts. But how do we study short films? What are we looking for exactly? Well, you study the framing choices, the shot design. Can you guess what lens they used? How did they use blocking to tell a story? What's the pace of the edit? How did they use sound design, color, wardrobe? How did they build tension? Look at the lighting choices. How many actors do they have? How many locations do you see? How do they use the fundamental principles of drama, characters with goals and whatnot? How do all of these elements work together to create the overall impact? We've all got busy lives, right? Finding time to break down an hour and a half plus long feature-length movie can be a challenge, but not so hard to find 10 or 20 minutes to watch and break down a short film. Far less of a time commitment. I am not advocating that you stop studying your favorite movies. That's ridiculous. What I am saying is, you gotta balance that shit out. But wait, there's a lot of short films out there. Which ones should you be studying? It depends on what you're working on. For example, if you have no money, no crew, and very little experience, you should be studying short films that manage to tell an engaging story with just 2 actors in a room. We call these chamber films. Everybody's had to make at least one of these in film school. You can shoot them for next to nothing using your house or a friend's house for a location. There are
So check this out. Yeah, that's true too, but just using 2, 3 people, that's cool. what you could do is also like maybe a monologue with one person. I've seen other people do this. You can do. I don't know how good people are with animation, but it seemed like a lot of people's doing it. Like he's doing it right now. You know, and it's just a way to practice. Making films. A lot of a lot more people are doing skits like Dave Chappelle skits, and those are considered short films. So if you think about it, you have somebody in this little bitty apartment, and I guess a girlfriend and a boyfriend, they going through some type of, uh, I don't know, relationship problem. It could be he's failing to communicate with her about certain things. She's accused him of cheating and stuff like that. Like you can engage your audience just with two people. That's easy. You know what I'm saying? I haven't done it yet, but I am gonna do some more short films involving 2, 3 people, maybe 10 at the most. You know what I mean? But I was gonna do like a sitcom like Martin, similar to that. I won't take I won't take everything from Martin, but I am gonna do something similar to that, and that will help me be better at breaking down stories too, like you just said. I can put together stuff in my mind because I started out a story writer. I started out, you know what I mean? So it's a little bit easier. I didn't start out as a cameraman or even a photographer, you know what I mean? Like, it's just real talk. I just did not start there. I started as a writer. So I know I can see different frames in my head, you know what I mean? And I know I could put together a short with no problem. But there's a lot of people that can't. So this is something he's saying that you can do to practice. And then the more you practice, the better you get, and then you'll be more confident in doing a full feature, movie, which is normally about an hour and 30 minutes. So all the advice he's giving right now on point. And I I don't see him ever like telling me anything that's wrong. Like, like I said, I learned a lot of stuff from him, and I think that he's right on point with all of this. He's actually been in film school, so you ought to listen to somebody that got some real education in this. So this is the guy that I found. I'm gonna finish this out, and then if you guys have any questions, just drop it in the comment box.
Plenty of short films like this out there on the internet. It's your job to find them and study them. There is a laundry list of different reasons why you might study short films. Learning to shoot with limited resources is just one of them. This is why I started the Short Film Breakdown Archive. I want to try and replicate that experience that I got in film school for you cats. This is a space where I can share these breakdowns and my observations about the craft with you. I'm no Steven Spielberg. I don't know everything there is to know about film. I don't think anyone does, but breaking down shorts has really helped me over the years, and I'm pretty sure it'll help you too. I'm still making all my videos on the YouTubes, don't worry about that, I'm not going anywhere. But over in the Short Film Breakdown Archive, I examine the works of others and share those breakdowns with you. It's a different kind of content from me on a different platform. I want this to be an ever-growing resource that you can turn to on your journey to becoming a better storyteller.
I'm really gonna rock with him on that Patreon. I'm on the Patreon too, so let's tap in with him. D for Darius. That's my time, and just make sure y'all share this with your friends and family. Get them all on the Patreon. All right.